Did you ever wonder what happens when you send a message, an email, a photo, or even a video over the internet to someone else? Well, it gets encrypted, which is a fancy way of saying it gets turned into a secret code that ideally only the person you're sending it to can crack open and understand. This secret code is super tough, like a puzzle with a billion pieces. For a regular computer, trying to solve this puzzle could take more than a lifetime. Seriously, we're talking thousands of years. And this is not just data and messages we send, even security keys and passwords. These are super safe. Even the fastest supercomputers today have a tough time trying to break these security keys. The complexity is so high that even under the best conditions, it would take years for a system to break down the standard keys we use today. But all that doesn't mean you should be worried. Why? Because the word is there's something new on the horizon called quantum computing. It's an even faster version of the computers we use today. Quantum computing can turn the encryption game on its head, reducing the time needed to crack these complex codes from years to possibly just a few hours and minutes. Many of the public key encryption methods popular today, such as RSA, Diffie-Hellman, and elliptic curve cryptography, are just simple tasks for quantum computers to solve. And in this video, we're going to discuss what exactly is quantum computing, and we'll explore its impact on cybersecurity. This is something you really need to understand, as it's going to change the entire digital world. Alright, now, first of all, let's talk about quantum computing. Now, to understand quantum computing, suppose you've got a magic coin that can be heads and tails at the same time. Sounds weird, right? But in quantum computing, that's kind of what happens with data. This is all thanks to something called quantum theory, which is science speak for how things work really small, like atoms and particles small. Now, quantum computers use these super tiny things like electrons or light particles, photons, to do their magic. They have something called qubits, which are like the bits in your phone or computer, but with superpowers. These qubits can be in more than one state at a time, like our magic coin being heads and tails. This lets them do a ton of calculations at once, which is pretty mind-blowing. Now imagine trying to solve a giant maze that takes millions of years with a regular computer. A quantum computer could do this in a snap because qubits can explore many paths at the same time. Back in the 1980s, scientists and researchers figured out that some problems could be solved way faster with this quantum approach than with regular computers. And because they're so powerful, big companies like IBM, Google, and Microsoft are all over this, trying to make quantum computers that can do amazing things. These quantum machines could change how we keep things safe online, make medicines, design stuff like airplanes, and even help us understand the universe better. They could also make things like radar way better, or help keep our water clean. One of the coolest things about quantum computers is how they use two tricks from quantum physics: superposition and entanglement. Superposition is our magic coin being in two states at once. Entanglement is when two qubits get so close they basically become a duo, where changing one instantly changes the other, no matter how far apart they are. This duo can solve problems super fast and with less energy than regular computers. But quantum computing isn't easy. These qubits are super sensitive. Even a little noise or a change in temperature can mess them up, taking them out of their magic state. That's why it's important to keep them stable with things like super cool fridges and special vacuum chambers. Now, that was how quantum computing works, but with great power comes great responsibility. And, well, it has very interesting impacts on cybersecurity, the most sensitive area of the digital world. You see, quantum computing isn't just about doing cool stuff faster. It's like unlocking a superpower that could change the game for cybersecurity. Think about all the stuff we do online every day: chatting, shopping, managing our money, even keeping tabs on our health. All that relies on codes and keys to keep our information secure from the bad guys. Right now, those locks are pretty tough to pick thanks to the way computers work today. But quantum computing, with its ability to solve complex puzzles super fast, it could crack open the digital locks we rely on, almost like they were made out of paper. This means stuff we thought was super secure, like our personal health and financial info, could be at risk. It's not just about losing an email, it's about the big important stuff that could affect our lives in a big way. And then there's the whole world of digital money. cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. These depend on some serious math to keep transactions secure and anonymous. But quantum computers could also make that math look like child's play, potentially turning the crypto world upside down. So what's the big deal with cybersecurity and quantum computing? Let's talk about these impacts, but first, smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. It means the world to us, and it helps us share all these geeky adventures with more awesome people like you. Getting back to the video, the first impact of quantum computing on cybersecurity is about harvest now, decrypt later. Picture this: bad guys, let's call them threat actors, sneakily collect all this encrypted data from places like businesses, banks, and even government agencies. They can't crack it open yet because it's locked up super tight with super complex codes. But here's their game plan. They're just going to sit on it, wait for the quantum computing to get all beefed up, and then boom, break those codes wide open like they're nothing. A survey by Deloitte showed that just a tad over half of the pros they've talked to think their places could be hit by this kind of sneak attack. Why? Because quantum computers could one day make mincemeat of the encryption methods we all rely on today, like RSA, turning what was once a digital Fort Knox into a house of cards. Now, you might think, okay, but that's future me's problem, right? Well, not really. Even some of these data heists might already be happening, and we wouldn't even know because detecting them takes some pretty high-tech gear and smarts. Now, for the next implication, we have to take a supposition. So imagine you got this super tough, unbreakable lock on your diary. It's so complex, no one can crack it open without the key. That's kind of like asymmetric cryptography, a fancy way of saying a special type of lock and key system for our online secrets, using some really hard math problems. Websites, emails, online banking, they all use this kind of lock to keep hackers out. We're talking about stuff like RSA, Diffie-Hellman, DH, and elliptic curve cryptography, ECC. But here's where things get wild. Picture someone coming along with a magic key that can open any lock in the world, no matter how tough. That's what quantum computing is threatening to be. Back in 1994, a smart cookie named Peter Shor came up with a math formula, now called Shor's algorithm, that could let a quantum computer pick these locks wide open, solving those tough math problems as easily as you'd solve 2 + 2. For a long time, people weren't too worried about it. After all, quantum computers were more like something you'd find in a science fiction novel than in real life. But fast forward to today, and the story's changed. Quantum computing's getting closer to reality, and with it, the power to crack open the digital locks that keep our online world safe. Experts are now saying that by 2027, quantum computing could be a big deal, worth billions. That means the very thing that's kept our digital treasures safe, the locks on our personal data, financial info, and all those online secrets, could suddenly be as easy to open as your front door with the right key. So what does this mean for you and me? Well, it's like we're standing on the edge of a digital revolution, where the old ways of keeping things safe online might not cut it anymore. Our current security systems might soon be outdated, making everything from our emails to our bank account an open book for anyone with access to quantum computing. Alright, for the next impact, we're looking at something called blockchain. You probably heard of Bitcoin, right? That digital cash that seems to be everywhere these days. Well, Bitcoin, along with a bunch of other cryptocurrencies, relies on this tech called blockchain to keep transactions secure and anonymous. It's like a digital ledger that's super tough to mess with because it's spread out across tons of computers. Now, blockchain is super smart because it uses something called public key cryptography. It's a bit like having a public mailbox where anyone can drop something in, the public key, but you're the only one who can take stuff out because you've got the private key. This system helps keep everything on the blockchain safe and sound. But here comes our quantum plot twist. Remember how quantum computing was like a magic key for super tough locks? Well, it could do the same for blockchain. A recent study threw up some eyebrow-raising numbers. About 25% of all the Bitcoin out there and a whopping 65% of Ether, that's the currency on the Ethereum network, are sitting ducks because their public keys are out there for anyone to see on the blockchain. This is like leaving the key to your treasure chest sitting right next to it. With just a quantum computer, someone could, in theory, use those public keys to figure out the private keys, essentially picking the lock to your digital wallet and swiping your digital dollars. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars in crypto at risk here. That's a lot of digital dough potentially up for grabs. So what's the big picture? Well, the digital world is always evolving, and so are the ways we protect it. As quantum computing edges closer to reality, it's up to us to stay informed, adapt, and ensure our digital lives are as secure as possible. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support fuels our adventures into the world of tech, and there's plenty more where this came from. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you in the next video.